I never used to notice it. Or maybe I just didn't want to. At first, Dana's friendship with Ben felt harmless. We'd been dating for over a year, and I figured everyone has an ex or two lingering around. She'd known him since high school, and I didn't want to be the jealous boyfriend who made a big deal out of nothing. But somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like nothing. My name is Alex. I'm 27 years old, and I work as a mechanic in a small shop outside Columbus, Ohio. I've been with Dana for 18 months, and for most of that time, I thought we were solid. She's 25, an event planner who knows everyone in this city. She's funny, outgoing, and has this way of walking into a room and owning it. That's part of why I fell for her. But lately, I've been starting to wonder if I ever really knew her at all. The first time I felt something off, it was a small thing. We were eating takeout on her couch one Friday night. She was telling me about this new band she liked, and then, almost as an afterthought, she said, "Oh, Ben showed me their music last week. He's got great taste. You'd probably like it too." It wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. Like his opinion carried extra weight. I brushed it off. But after that, Ben's name started coming up more and more. If I mentioned a new burger joint, she'd say, "Ben told me it's overrated." If I told a joke, she'd laugh and say, "You sound just like Ben." It was like he was always there, in our conversations, in her head, even when he wasn't in the room. One afternoon, she texted me, "Having lunch with Ben, don't wait on me tonight." When I saw her later, I casually asked, "How was lunch?" She narrowed her eyes like I'd accused her of something. "Why are you asking that?" she said. I blinked. "I'm just asking how it went. That's all." "You sound jealous," she shot back, her tone sharp. I wasn't. I really wasn't. At least, not then. I just wanted to know how her day went. But suddenly, I was on the defensive, trying to explain myself like I'd done something wrong. That's when I realized something. Every time I brought up Ben, even in passing, she flipped it back on me. It became a pattern. If I said, "I feel like you talk about him a lot," she'd roll her eyes and call me insecure. If I asked why she still went to his shows, she'd accuse me of trying to control her. And I'd back down because I didn't want to fight. But the more I let it go, the more I started to feel like I was losing my voice in this relationship. It wasn't that I thought Dana was cheating. It was worse than that. It was like my feelings didn't even register. Like she could do or say whatever she wanted, and I was supposed to swallow it and smile. One night, lying in bed next to her, I stared at the ceiling and wondered when things had shifted. Maybe it had always been this way, and I was just now seeing it. Either way, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was breaking between us. Not because of Ben, but because she made me feel like I didn't matter. The first photo hit my feed on Saturday night. I was lying on my couch, half asleep, when Dana's name popped up on Instagram. She was at some crew reunion, with old friends, the kind of weekend trip she'd mentioned once or twice, but brushed off like it wasn't a big deal. I tapped the story, expecting some harmless group shots. Instead, I saw her resting her head on Ben's shoulder. I stared at the screen for a long second, thinking maybe I was overreacting. Friends pose like that sometimes, right? Then I swiped to the next photo. Ben with his arm around her waist, her leaning into him like they'd been glued together for years. And then came the kicker. A photo of her kissing his cheek, captioned, "Missed this guy." I felt something sink in my chest. Not jealousy, not at first. Just this sharp sense of what the hell is this? It wasn't about her being near Ben. It was about how casual she was, like there was nothing wrong with broadcasting this to the world. Like my feelings didn't exist. I didn't text her. I didn't comment. I just sat there, phone in hand, trying to figure out if this was normal and I was the crazy one, or if I was finally seeing what I'd been ignoring for months. When she came back Sunday evening, I was calm. Maybe too calm. She walked into my apartment like nothing was wrong, tossed her bag onto the chair, and smiled. "Hey babe, miss me?" "Yeah," I said, watching her. "So saw the pictures." Her smile faltered, just a fraction. "What pictures?" "The ones with Ben," I said. "The cheek kiss. The shoulder thing." She scoffed, like I'd just accused her of a felony. "Oh my God, are you serious right now?" "I'm just asking," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Do you think that's okay? Posting that when you're with me?" She crossed her arms. "You're overreacting. It was nothing. He's just a friend." "Would it be nothing if I posted a picture kissing an ex's cheek?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "That would be different." "Why?" I said. "Because I'd be doing it to hurt you?" Her tone went cold. "Yes, exactly. You'd be doing it on purpose. This wasn't like that." I could feel the heat rising in my face, but I kept my voice even. "Dana, I'm not saying you can't have friends. I'm saying this crosses a line. You're trying to control me," she snapped. "This is exactly what I mean. You're so insecure." "Insecure," I repeated slowly. "That's what we're calling it now? Asking for respect is insecurity?" She rolled her eyes. "You're twisting this. I can't believe you're making drama out of nothing." And that was when it hit me. It wasn't about jealousy. It wasn't about Ben. It was about the fact that I could sit here, calmly explaining why this bothered me, and she'd still spin it into me being the problem. She didn't want to hear me. She didn't want to see me. She just wanted to win. I let it go that night. Or at least, I pretended to. But a small voice in my head kept saying, "This isn't nothing. This is disrespect. And if you let it slide now, it'll only get worse." By the time the next weekend rolled around, I was done pretending everything was fine. Dana didn't bring up our conversation about the photos. It was like it never happened. Instead, she showed me another batch of shots from her trip, all smiles and group hugs, except most of them featured Ben. One post in particular stopped me cold. Dana and Ben on the beach, sitting close, her legs almost draped over his. The caption read, "Like old times." Another post popped up later that night, them with late-night coffees, her comment reading, "Our favorite spot." The comments from her friends were worse. "You two are soulmates. Always loved your energy together." Every time I scrolled through, I felt my jaw tighten. It wasn't just the photos. It was how she wanted everyone to see them. If it were me, I would have never put her in that position with an ex. That's when I did something I never thought I'd do. I started looking into Ben. I didn't stalk him like a madman or anything. I just clicked through his public profile, curious to see if he had a girlfriend. That's when I found her, Marissa, a veterinarian. Sweet-looking. The kind of girl who posted pictures of rescue animals and cupcakes she baked on weekends. She and Ben were celebrating their 2-year anniversary in one of her posts, smiling like a couple who had it all figured out. And here was Dana, posting cheek kisses and beach cuddles like none of that mattered. I sat there that night, staring at my laptop screen, my stomach twisting. I wasn't mad because I thought Dana was cheating. I was mad because she didn't care about the boundary. Not for me, not for Ben, not for anyone. So I decided to do something I'd never done before. I started saving screenshots. Not just of Dana's posts, but of the comments, the captions, even old throwbacks she'd posted over the last year that suddenly looked different to me. I put them all into a folder labeled Receipts. When the folder was full enough to tell the story on its own, I found Marissa on Facebook and sent her a short, polite message. "Hi Marissa, not trying to start trouble here. Just thought you'd want to see some things your boyfriend's ex is posting publicly. All from the last few weeks. Take care." I attached the folder and hit send before I could talk myself out of it. She didn't reply. For about an hour, I wondered if I'd made a mistake. Maybe she'd think I was just some jealous boyfriend trying to stir the pot. But then, Ben's profile went dark. His Instagram was wiped, his Facebook locked down. Within minutes, my phone started buzzing. First, it was Dana. "What did you do?" Then another. "Why would you message Marissa?" Before I could even type a response, Ben's name showed up on her screen, calling her. She answered in the kitchen, her voice low but furious. I couldn't hear what he said, but I could hear her pacing, yelling, "Alex had no right, and you ruined everything." 10 minutes later, she stormed into the living room, face flushed. "How dare you get involved in something that's none of your business?" "None of my business," I said calmly. "Dana, you've been dragging me into this for months. You post pictures with your ex that make me look like an idiot, and I'm supposed to stay quiet?" She was shaking. "You've crossed a line. Ben is sobbing right now because you had to play hero. You ruined everything." I looked at her for a long moment, then said, "Maybe it wasn't me who ruined it. Maybe it was the pictures." The next morning, my phone buzzed before I even got out of bed. It was blowing up with notifications. Group chats, mutual friends, even random tags from people I barely knew. I opened Instagram and froze. Marissa had posted everything. She didn't just send Ben a private message. She went full public. There was the photo of Dana kissing Ben's cheek. Caption, "Missed this guy." Right below it, Marissa had written, "He told me he was visiting his parents. Turns out he was cuddled up with his ex." The post was brutal, a carousel of screenshots, captions, and comments. Marissa even added, "Not the first time he's blurred boundaries with an ex while in a relationship. This is a pattern. Consider this my goodbye gift, Ben." I sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling, stunned. The comments section was already a wildfire. "Wow, this is messy. Girl, you deserve better. Dump him." By mid-morning, Marissa's post had over 300 likes and a flood of supportive comments. Ben's name was trending, at least among our mutual circle. Dana's friends were tagging her too, asking if it was true. Dana called me 15 times in the span of an hour. I ignored every single one. By the 5th voicemail, her voice was cracking. "Alex, pick up. Please. We need to talk. I didn't mean for this to happen. You made it worse." But I just sat there, sipping my coffee, watching the digital meltdown like it was a bad reality show I didn't sign up for. Around noon, Marissa posted again. For everyone asking, no, this isn't the first time. Ben pulled the same stunt with an ex named Kendra while we were dating. I should have seen the signs. She attached old screenshots Ben had sent her, cringeworthy messages like, "I can't stop thinking about you," and "wish I was with you instead." The receipts kept coming. Every hour, another piece of the puzzle fell into place, and Ben's carefully crafted image as a sweet, misunderstood musician shattered. Dana tried to spin it. She posted a vague story with a black background and white text. Sometimes people don't understand friendship. Not everything is what it looks like. It didn't work. Marissa's evidence was too clear. I watched Dana's story disappear under a flood of comments calling her out. People weren't buying the "just friends" defense anymore. They saw the cheek kisses, the captions, the cozy beach photos. That night, Dana showed up at my apartment building. She didn't even text first. I watched her from my window as she stood outside, pacing, on the phone with someone, probably Ben. When she finally left, she sent one last text. "I hope you're happy. You've destroyed everything." I didn't answer, because for the first time in weeks, I felt like I wasn't the crazy one. The next day, Marissa posted a selfie with her dog and a caption that read, "Starting fresh. Thank you to everyone who reached out. Dodged a bullet." The comments were full of encouragement. People were on her side. As for Ben and Dana, they were nowhere to be found online. Both of their accounts went silent, their photos wiped or archived. It was like they wanted to disappear. And honestly, I didn't blame them. 3 days passed before Dana showed up again, this time at my apartment door. No warning, no text, just a loud knock that made my stomach twist. When I opened the door, she stood there with swollen eyes and smeared mascara. Her hair was pulled into a messy bun, and she was clutching her phone like it was the only thing keeping her together. "Alex," she said, voice trembling. "We need to talk." I didn't say anything at first. I just stepped aside and let her in. She walked straight to the middle of my living room and stood there like she wasn't sure what to do with herself. "You destroyed my relationship with Ben," she said, barely above a whisper. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. If a few public photos destroyed it, maybe it wasn't much of a relationship. Her head snapped up. "Don't be cruel. I wasn't trying to hurt you. She stopped, like she was searching for the right spin. "I thought if I made you jealous, you'd fight for me." I stared at her, stunned. "You wanted me to fight for you? You posted pictures kissing another guy's cheek, but when I told you it hurt, you called me insecure. Do you even hear yourself right now?" She flinched like I'd slapped her. "I didn't think you cared that much," she said softly. "You never show it." My jaw tightened. "Dana, I did care. But every time I tried to talk to you about Ben, you mocked me. You turned everything into my problem. What was I supposed to do? Beg you to respect me?" Tears filled her eyes. "I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. But you can't just throw us away. We've been together almost 2 years. And in those 2 years," I said quietly, "I've never once made you feel like you weren't enough. But you did that to me, over and over, and then acted like I was crazy for noticing." She took a step closer, her voice cracking. "I'll cut him off. I'll delete the posts, block him, whatever you want. I just don't want to lose you." I shook my head. "Dana, you didn't post those pictures because of him. You posted them because you like the attention. This isn't about love. It's about you needing to win some game I didn't even know we were playing." "Please," she whispered. "We can fix this." "No," I said firmly. "I'm not your prize for winning. I'm done being tested to see how much humiliation I'll take." She stood there, frozen, like she didn't know how to respond. Then, without another word, she turned and walked out. The door closed softly behind her, but the silence that followed felt heavier than any shouting match we'd ever had. For the first time, I didn't feel angry. I just felt free. I thought that was the end of it. But Dana wasn't done. 2 days later, my phone buzzed with a new group chat. "Let's clear the air." The participants? Dana, me, Ben, and, to my surprise, Marissa. I almost laughed out loud. This was going to be a train wreck. Dana started right away. "We need to stop all this drama. Alex, you blew things out of proportion. Marissa, you overreacted. Ben and I are just friends, but men like Alex always get threatened by confident women who have male friends." I stared at my screen, speechless. She really believed this was about confidence? Before I could reply, Marissa jumped in. "Friends? Dana, do friends post cheek kisses with captions like 'miss this guy'? Do friends hide their hangouts from their partners?" Dana shot back. "You're just mad your boyfriend has a past. Maybe you should be more secure." I was about to mute the chat when Marissa sent a barrage of screenshots. Dozens of them. Texts from Ben to her. "I miss you. I wish I was with you instead. I can't tell Marissa about lunch with Dana. She wouldn't understand." The group went quiet for a full minute. Ben finally responded. "It's not what it looks like." I actually snorted out loud. Marissa replied instantly. "Not what it looks like? You told me you were visiting your parents the same weekend you were cuddled up on a beach with her." Dana tried to pivot. "Ben, don't let her manipulate you. She's just trying to stir things up. But Marissa wasn't done. Stir things up? Dana, you do realize you're the third girl this has happened with, right? Did Ben tell you about Kendra? There was a pause. I could almost feel Dana's confusion through the screen. Who's Kendra? She typed. Marissa delivered the killing blow. Ask him. Or better yet, here's a screenshot of him lying to Kendra too, when they were just friends while he was with me. He's been running the same playbook for years. The group chat went silent. Then Ben, in a last-ditch effort to save face, wrote, "This isn't fair. You're all ganging up on me." Marissa responded with one line. "The truth doesn't need a gang. It's just the truth." Dana stopped replying after that. No defensive comments, no excuses. I think she finally realized she wasn't just fighting me. She was being exposed right alongside Ben. I didn't type a single word. I didn't have to. I just watched the entire thing unfold like a spectator at the most satisfying show of my life. An hour later, Marissa sent me a private message. "Thanks for giving me the heads up. I would have never known otherwise." I replied, "You deserve to know." We both did. Meanwhile, Dana sent me one last message outside the group chat. "You didn't have to humiliate me like that." I stared at it for a while before replying. "You did that to yourself. I just stopped pretending not to see it." That night, I deleted the group chat. Not out of guilt, but because I'd already seen everything I needed to see. Dana wasn't just tangled up in Ben's drama. She was part of it, and I wanted no part of either of them anymore. A week passed without a word from Dana. No texts, no calls, nothing. I figured she'd finally given up. But one rainy Thursday evening, there was a knock on my door. When I opened it, she stood there holding a small cardboard box. Her makeup was perfect this time, like she wanted to present herself as put together, but her eyes were red. "I brought your stuff," she said quietly. I stepped aside, letting her in. She set the box down on my coffee table, then stood there with her arms folded. "Alex, can we just talk? Please?" I sat on the arm of the couch, waiting. She took a deep breath. "I know I messed up. I didn't see what I was doing until I lost you. I'm sorry." Her voice trembled on that last word. "Dana," I said, "this isn't just about Ben. It's about the way you made me feel for months. Like my feelings were some joke you didn't have to take seriously." She stepped closer. "I was stupid. I thought making you jealous would make you fight for me. I thought it would prove you cared." "Do you hear how backwards that sounds?" I asked. "When I did care, when I told you I was hurt, you mocked me. You called me insecure. You can't have it both ways." She swallowed hard. "I'll cut him off. I'll block him. I'll do whatever it takes. Just don't throw this away." I shook my head. "It's not about cutting someone off. It's about respect. If you had to play games to test my love, then you never really trusted it." Her face crumpled for a second. "You don't believe I love you?" I took a deep breath. "I think you love the attention. You love the chase. You wanted me to prove something. But relationships aren't supposed to be some competition where someone wins." She reached for my hand, but I pulled back. "Dana," I said gently, "I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to be the prize you get after testing my patience. I need peace. I need respect. And I didn't have either with you." Tears welled in her eyes. "So that's it. We're just over?" "We've been over since the day you chose likes and comments over us," I said quietly. She didn't argue after that. She just nodded, picked up her bag, and walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned back once more. "I hope she treats you better than I did," she whispered. I didn't answer. I didn't know her that. When the door clicked shut, I felt lighter, not happy, but free in a way I hadn't felt in months. By the time the weekend rolled around, the dust was settling, at least for me. For Dana and Ben, it was just starting to get messy. Through mutual friends, I heard they tried dating for a few days after everything blew up. Maybe they thought it would prove something, or maybe they were just clinging to the one person who still understood the chaos. Either way, it didn't last. They imploded faster than I expected. Dana posted a vague story, a black screen with white text that read, "Some people just can't handle realness." The next day, Ben posted a selfie captioned, "Fresh start." It was so transparent, I almost laughed. Marissa, on the other hand, was thriving. A few weeks later, I saw a post of hers pop up in my feed, her holding a rescue puppy, smiling like she'd left the drama far behind. The caption read, "New job, new chapter, new joy. Dodged a bullet." The comments were full of heart emojis and supportive friends telling her she deserved better. I thought about sending her a message, just a simple, "Glad you're doing well." But I didn't. She didn't owe me anything, and I didn't want to drag either of us back into that mess. As for Dana, she couldn't let it go quietly. A week after our final talk, she posted this long Notes app apology to her followers. It was full of phrases like misunderstood friendship, social media can give the wrong impression, and learning to grow as a person. The comments were brutal. "Girl, you kissed another woman's boyfriend. Own it. This isn't growth. It's damage control." Why is this even public? Yikes. I didn't feel bad for her. Not anymore. One night, I sat on my couch scrolling through my phone, the same way I had when this all started. The group chat, the one with me, Dana, Ben, and Marissa, was still there. I opened it, scrolled through all the screenshots and arguments, and just laughed quietly to myself. Then I deleted the whole thing. Life moved on. I started therapy, partly because of Dana, but mostly because I realized I'd been ignoring my own needs for too long. I wanted to understand why I'd put up with so much disrespect before I finally stood my ground. I started seeing someone new, nothing serious yet, but different. She listens when I speak. She doesn't play games. I didn't realize how much I missed that until now. The last time I heard Dana's name, a friend sent me a screenshot of her dating app profile. Her bio read, "Looking for a secure man who can handle a strong woman and her friendships." I just shook my head and smiled. Because for the first time in a long time, I knew I wasn't looking back.